North to south, coast to coast. This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. There's really only one story today. That is the testimony by Robert S. Mueller III before the House Government Oversight Committee, Government Reform Committee, the House Oversight Committee and Government Reform, and the House Intelligence Committee. There are huge holes in this testimony. And there are huge holes in the report of Robert S. Mueller III. The testimony today, in my opinion, please note that I said, in my opinion, had some calculations for Robert S. Mueller III. Those calculations involve, I've got to distance myself from the Steele dossier. He said he would not take any questions about it. It was the predicate for his investigation, and yet will not testify about it at all. That was a convenient, essentially, lie of omission. It wasn't necessarily a lie of omission except for the fact that he was not going to talk about any of those things. That, by the way, is part and parcel as to the Republican case in all of this, which is, and by the way, if this ever gets into a legal circumstance in any way, if the legalities are actually discussed, it's going to get thrown out of court in about 2 minutes. Because what's going to end up happening is that sooner or later, somebody's going to have to explain that there was probable cause to go about all of this. The reason that Robert S. Mueller III would not spend any time talking about the Steele dossier is because all the probable cause that led to wiretaps through the FISA court and to the original investigation of the Mueller report, because all of that, I'll be right there, all of that is predicated on this dossier which has been discredited. And it looks to me like somebody is going to have some very serious explaining to do, including Rod Rosenstein, when it comes to FISA, the FISA court saying, hey, just exactly, what did you tell us about this? Why didn't you tell us this was bought and paid for opposition research? Why didn't you tell us all the things we needed to know about this? Somebody's going to go to jail. Let me get to Tate and Burleson. Isaac, thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report.
JD, how you doing?
Man, it's been a tough day. I mean, the thing about it is, and I'm sure you saw a lot of this Mueller testimony. The thing about all this is, and by the way, Tate's a great Democrat, great American. What I saw is a guy who was being extremely evasive and trying to not answer more questions than he answered. What do you see?
Your observation is spot on. But again, before you even got started, he said there's a investigation going into the FISA warrants and the dossier Steele situation. So he said he can't comment on that. He made it perfectly clear at the beginning of his testimony.
But you know as well as I do that the reason that he did any investigating whatsoever, why he was appointed as a special counsel and did this investigation, was because of what came out through the Steele dossier and the supposed collusion between Donald Trump's campaign and Russians.
I can't agree with this.
You can't disagree.
I can't agree with this. I cannot agree with the Steele dossier part.
Let me finish. Wait a minute. Let me finish. The thing about it is you can't separate these two things. Either he had a basis for his investigation or he did not. That's all I wanted to say.
He had a basis, but is it predicated on what was in the Steele dossier solely? And that's what the Republicans trying to push, that this whole situation, investigation, were predicated on the Steele dossier. And that is yet to be determined.
Well, actually, from what we understand, just by virtue of civilian reporting, what's in open source, is that there are huge problems with this Steele dossier. Remember, here's what happened. It came from Russians. In other words, the information from the Steele dossier came from Russians, and somehow that's a crime, that's not a crime. But if Trump is contacted by Russians who say they have negative research on Hillary Clinton, and they even have a meeting about it, which, by the way, yields no information, lasts about 20 minutes, and somehow is some sort of extravagant political crime, how do those two things balance in your mind?
Okay, well, again, my understanding is this, that the dossier was acquired through a third-person source. The company that Hillary Clinton went to was an American company who then went to Richard Steele to get the dossier.
That was
Trump,
Fusion. Wait a minute. That was Fusion GPS.
That was Fusion GPS, yes.
Yes.
And Trump had direct contact, his people in his campaign, over 100 contacts with the Russians. You can't ignore that.
Okay, well, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Hang on. A lot of those contacts were people that were involved with Fusion GPS. A lot of those contacts were people that were involved in Hillary's campaign. A lot of those Russians were involved with the FBI, James Comey, and the deep state. I mean, so you got to look at this. And also, by the way, this Valnitskaya, this attorney that supposedly came out of Russia, she's essentially the main player in the Trump meeting, which is all of these things are predicated on that. Essentially used, hey, wait a minute, I've got bad information on Hillary Clinton as a predicate to get Donald Trump Jr. into a room along with Jared Kushner in the Trump Tower, and she started talking about women's rights in Russia. And so they just said, there's nothing here, and they leave, and suddenly this is some sort of arch conspiracy that the president was colluding with Russia.
There were 23 Russians, I believe, that were mentioned in the Mueller report that had charges brought up against them. Again, we don't
13.
know exactly.
13.
Oh, well, 13. I thought it was 23.
Yeah, they were all indicted. They were all indicted.
Okay, indicted. Okay. Let's go with 13. Again, we don't know who exactly was talking to, but we do know that she was there at the Trump Tower meeting, which Donald Trump Jr. lied on numerous occasions about the purpose of the meeting. Again.
No, he didn't lie about the purpose of the meeting.
Yes,
he was there. No, listen. He was there. He was there to collect negative information about Hillary Clinton. He said that.
And he originally stated it was about adoption.
No. No. You're conflating a couple of things here. No.
Okay.
No. Donald Trump Jr. was very straightforward that he was going there to find some sort of negative information on Hillary Clinton. He was going there for that purpose, and that did not happen. That what ended up happening was this adoption thing you're talking about. And so he lied.
Exactly. That's the lie he told. Is that what I said?
That's not the lie he told. There was no information from Valnitskaya. There was no information from her against Hillary Clinton. The predicate for the entire meeting was false.
And as I was saying, when it came out that he had a meeting, he lied about the purpose of the meeting to the media and said he wasn't there to get information about the Hillary campaign. He said he was there to talk about Russian adoptions.
I think you're conflating that, but let's just move on.
I am willing to bet the house that he said that.
But it doesn't make any difference, Isaac. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, because let me ask you this. Okay, so Donald Trump Jr. is there in a meeting ostensibly to get negative information on Hillary Clinton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what was Fusion GPS, the Democrat National Committee, and Christopher Steele doing with money changing hands with the Russians? What was that? Was that negative information? That was negative information about Donald Trump, right?
I'm like, Mother, I can't answer that question until William Barr finished his report.
Now stop.
I can't answer that question.
Isaac, stop talking over me. Look, here's the situation. If it's a crime for Donald Trump, it's a crime for Hillary Clinton. If it's not a crime for Hillary Clinton, it's not a crime for Donald Trump. You don't get to have it both ways.
Mr. Mueller said it's not a crime for Donald Trump. But he also said he wasn't exonerated. Listen,
that's on obstruction of justice. That's a different story.
Listen, I enjoy the show, and I'm just going to say this. I think you're a great guy.
Thank you.
But we, as an Americans, need to stop. We want our politicians to do better, but we're not holding them accountable.
Well,
and what the Democrats did today, they accomplished their goal. They wanted to get the Mueller report out to the people. Now, Mueller didn't, give details on it to go further, extended his report, but they did do exactly what they wanted to do, and they made those connections. Again, when you're American, they wanted to reach those independents, and they talked about the propaganda, who did the propaganda help. They talked about the instructions. They talked about the exchange of information with Paul Manafort and how Donald Trump reacted to the WikiLeaks. I mean, they made those connections, and they're just the fact.
Well, no. Okay, so you're putting together a whole bunch of talking points that really that really weren't talked about today? And
they were.
I mean, they were talked about by politicians. They weren't talked about by Mueller. There was no. I mean, for me, the testimony I wanted to hear was from Robert S. Mueller III. I didn't hear any of that stuff because he wouldn't answer any of that stuff. All I heard were politicians essentially just putting it out there based on a lot of nothing. It was just pure speculation on their part, and that is not what this hearing was all about. What this hearing was all about was Robert S. Mueller III, not the politicians spewing talking points.
Well, when I asked him, did he exonerate the president as the president was going around saying this, he specifically said he did not. When he brought up the WikiLeaks and how WikiLeaks affect the country, and did he think WikiLeaks was a detriment to the country? He said it was. And how do you feel about the president embracing WikiLeaks when he said, I love it? He said it was problematic. It's an understatement, and it hurt the country. So, again, the little parts that he got out of Mueller, it was very effective.
Whoa, okay. Donald Trump has absolutely nothing to do with WikiLeaks, and he's got an opinion about WikiLeaks just like anybody else. Okay, WikiLeaks was laid on the country by either somebody you think is a hero or you think is a traitor. It makes and everybody has their own feelings about that, including the president. Remember, he's in the middle of a campaign. If there are things out there that are negative to Hillary Clinton, yeah, he's going to love it. Yeah, if there are things out there that are negative to the American people being perpetrated on the American people by its own government, not by Democrats in the government, but by everybody in the government, that is a good thing. Because remember, Donald Trump was outside that circle. Donald Trump is outside the political circle. But there are plenty of people inside that political circle that deserve to get nailed to the wall by the fact that WikiLeaks exposed a government of the United States abusing its power and abusing its people.
And another thing, too, for clarification, Donald Trump took the oath of office on June 20th. On February 7th,
January 20th.
In a tweet, on January 20th, he took the oath of office. On February 7th, he clearly stated in a tweet he had no dealing with Russia. On May the 11th, he told the NBC News
No. Okay,
that he had nothing to do with Russia.
Let's clear that up, and I'm glad you brought this up. Okay. Now, was he talking about collusion to do something with the government of the United States and the election? Or was he trying to hide the fact that he was trying to do a deal before the election as a real estate agent and essentially as a businessman? See, to me, he was talking about, I didn't have anything to do with Russian interference in the United States election. That's what he was talking about. But
he was talking about business.
But before that, he did have a business deal that was working for a Trump Tower in Moscow. And so what I think he was talking about was the politics, and what everybody is conflating is the business deal. See, there are two different things there having to do with Russians. And people are trading on the confusion in an effort to damage the president. That's what I see. Okay. Tate, thanks very much. Isaac Tate joining us on the Wells Report on the USA Radio Network.
Everyone loves liberty, so why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Stop letting others tell you what to do. Call us at 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or check us out online at libertyhealthshare.org. That's libertyhealthshare.org.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS and you cannot afford to make payments to the IRS, you may qualify for the CNC tax program. This is a new program, and if you qualify, you won't make any payments to the IRS while in this program. Once you're accepted into this program, the IRS is forced to stop all harassing collection activities. No threatening phone calls, no wage garnishments, no bank levies, and no more monthly payments to the IRS. Get ready to write this number down. It's the most important number you'll ever need need to end your IRS tax nightmare. Call Paramount Tax Relief at 800-547-4804 for a free confidential consultation to find out if you qualify for the CNC tax program. Once you are accepted into the CNC tax program, you won't make any payments to the IRS while in this program. Call Paramount Tax Relief now at 800-547-4804. That's 800-547-4804. Again, 800-547-4804.
With a recession ending, if you've been putting off building your business, now is the time to act. General Steel will meet or beat any price on a pre-engineered steel building of the same size and specifications. Act now, before steel prices go up. So call us today for free information.
Call 800-965-1290. 800-965-1290, 800-965-1290.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Then call Page Publishing at 800-605-6995 immediately. That's 800-605-6995. Page Publishing is looking for authors of all types of books. And unlike most publishers, Page Publishing will take the time to review each and every book submitted to them and give you their feedback. If they like what they read, they'll get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, the Apple iTunes Store, Barnes & Noble, and other outlets. They handle everything: editing, cover design, copyright protection, printing, publicity, and distribution. So if you've written a novel, children's book, cookbook, inspirational work, poetry, or a biography and want to get it published, then you need to call Page Publishing and do it immediately. Call 800-605-6995 now for your free author submission kit. Again, for your free author submission kit, call 800-605-6995. That's 800-605-6995. Your road to fame and fortune could very well start with this simple phone call. Call Page Publishing at 800-605-6995 for your free author submission kit.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip, or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
800-871-3291. 800-871-3291. Again, that's 800-871-3291.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 844-RADIO-US, 844-723-4687. See, let me give you an idea of what's going on here. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of moving parts in all of this. But the moving parts are distractions from the basic elements of this entire story. And I can't help but believe that that's calculated. Now remember, what I'm trying to do here is the only bias I have is fairness. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that people understand all the rubrics about what's going on here. What we have learned today is that Democrats are willing to say that the president interacting with a Russian lawyer in Trump Tower to collect negative information on Hillary Clinton is a crime. But Hillary Clinton, working through Fusion GPS, the Democrat National Committee, and Christopher Steele, working with Russians to get negative information on President Trump, is not a crime. That's the fairness I'm talking about. The President of the United States was asked, and this strikes to the heart of an awful lot of Democrat talking points. Isaac brought this up just a moment ago. The president was asked if he had any dealings with Russia. His answer can be one of two things. Did the president translate that in his mind that, in fact, I had nothing to do with any dealings with Russia that impacted the election? That's what I believe he was answering. If you go back several years, there is a failed business deal for a Trump Tower in Moscow. I'm pretty sure the president was not talking about that. And I'm also pretty sure that the president did not translate that any dealings with Russia. Goodness gracious, he's been doing real estate for decades. I am sure that he's done lots of deals with Russia. Now, you also have to keep in mind the context that he was trying to tamp down that there were some kind of connections between himself and the Russian government. Remember, that information was beginning to leak out. It was being used as a predicate to wiretap campaign workers of the Trump campaign, which is absolutely outrageous. How convenient is it that you somehow accuse your political opposition of espionage as a predicate to get wiretaps so that you can get interior or internal information about the campaign? That's what the Obama administration was doing. Was the Obama administration withholding all the information that they were able to collect from Hillary Clinton? No. See, that's what I mean here. All this is a vehemently horrifying distraction from the real reality here. And it's right there in front of your face. Now, I'm not spinning. What I'm trying to tell you is that there are people that want to have this both ways. You don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to have it both ways. If it's a crime for Donald Trump to do it, then it's a crime for Hillary to do it. And that has to do with gathering information, opposition research on your opponent. If oh, by the way, you base that spying on the Trump campaign on what is clearly a violation of espionage law, then why are you ignoring Hillary Clinton's use of a rogue server that did violate espionage law? This all happened at the same time. Once again, you don't get to have it both ways. And once again, we're connecting dots. It's what we do on the Wells Report. This is the USA Radio Network. Back with more in just a moment.
Do you wish you could get better sleep and maybe lose a few pounds? Maybe more than a few pounds? Well, there's this product called Calitrin that helps with both sleep and weight loss. Just listen to what people are saying about it.
I've been taking Calitrin for right about 3 months, and I've lost 24 pounds and 19 overall inches. But my sleep has improved, I have so much more energy, and I have the desire to succeed more than ever. Anyone who needs weight loss, more energy, and better sleep, this product really does deliver.
I'm Roger. Over the 3 months that I took the product, my sleeping habits are increasingly much better. I got a better night's sleep, and I just can't say enough about the product and how it makes you feel. Also, additionally lost a little bit of weight on the program as well.
Hi, this is Erin, and I take Calitrin for weight loss, and I've lost about 20 pounds, and I feel great.
Calitrin is scientifically proven to help with sleep and weight loss safely and effectively. Check it out at toploss.com. That's toploss.com.